tell us where you are and what you're able to see.
I'm in the city centre, and as I walk along here, all I've seen is scenes of absolute chaos. People really concerned, worried, making phone calls, calling out to see what's going on. All the metro stations at the moment have been shut, have been closed. People are being told to stay at home. Schools have been shut for the moment, creches and kindergartens. We understand that since the two explosions in the airport of Zaventem at 8 o'clock this morning, there have been multiple explosions around the city. One in Arkawa metro station, which is a very busy metro station where you can transit to take the other line, and another in Maalbeek. Maalbeek is just about a 5-minute walk from the European Council building. It's right in the hub of the EU district. We're hearing as well of an explosion in Gare Centrale. So that, of course, is the hub, the very heart of the city centre. So as you can imagine, it's an absolute very strange morning here in Brussels.
Maeve, can I just ask you once again to reiterate that you're saying now that we do have reports of 3 metro stations being targeted?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing from eyewitnesses, people are on the ground. I have a link set up to people that are all around the city who are texting me and or sending me information, telling me where they are and what they can see. You can probably hear behind me as well the sirens. I've seen and heard sirens and fire engines all morning, all around the city. I've also seen different parts of the city cornered off where police seem to be carrying out raids in areas like Kuckelberg, for example. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me because it's very loud here where I am.
Yes, Maeve, we can't hear you, but can you please say once again the name of where you're understanding a raid is taking place?
Well, where I spotted a raid taking place was up by in an area called Kuckelberg, which is adjacent to the Molenbeek district of Brussels, where, of course, Salah Abdeslam was arrested last Friday night in a massive operation that the police carried out.
Now, Maeve, did you initially try to head to the airport, but I understand the roads were blocked?
Exactly. We're hearing that only ambulances are allowed to take that road. The Brussels airport have told people not to go anywhere near the airport. It's been evacuated. There are no flights going to or from Brussels airport Zaventem this morning. I tried to reach the airport this morning, but the buses, the 21 and the 12 bus that usually go to the airport, are not travelling. The train that usually leaves from Gare Centrale is not travelling to the airport. And taxis are really hard to come by. The taxis are all full, or the phone line when you call when it's not working. As well, we're hearing from Movistar that the telephone network here is down as well, and a lot of people's mobile phones are not working right now.
Indeed, Maeve, we do understand that the Brussels Transport Authority has indeed closed all public transport in the city there where you are. As of now, to just put this into context once again, because there are a lot of things taking place right now, but one thing is for sure, it's that Brussels has been on high alert since November. Since the November 13th Paris attacks, directly Brussels was linked to the events, the tragic events that took place here in the French capital. And there has been a sense of unease there in the Belgian capital. Now, some had said, following the arrest of the main living, if you will, suspect of the Paris attacks, Salah Abdeslam, last week, many had said they were breathing a bit of a sigh of relief, if you will, at his arrest. But we had heard from authorities warning that perhaps any possible accomplices could try to run or possibly even try to carry out any attacks.
Exactly. That's what we heard yesterday. Now, he didn't specify, but the federal prosecutor was clear to say that pieces of the puzzle had been put together, but they hadn't got all of them, as in there was people still out there that were armed and dangerous and they thought could be plotting an attack. Now, back on the 21st of November 2015, Brussels was put under lockdown. So the terror alert level was put on 4 out of 4. People in Brussels were warned not to go near public transport or public places like the Kronplatz, the metro stations, the train stations, the airport. They're exactly the locations that have been targeted this morning in the last few hours. However, the terror alert level here is only at 3. Charles Michel had a meeting with the Security Council the other day after the arrest of Salah Abdeslam and decided to leave it at a terror threat level of 3 out of 4 and not pump it up to 4 like he did so back on the 21st of November. It seems to be that because they had caught Salah Abdeslam, they thought that maybe he was the mastermind, and the fact that he'd been captured, they wouldn't actually go ahead and carry out such a spectacular attack. But this seems to be, this morning is showing all the signs that this is the attack that they've been planning for weeks or for months and plotting here, right here in Brussels in the EU capital, because it's been an intense morning. It started at about 8 o'clock in the morning in Zaventem Airport in the departure lounge, where people were queuing up to check in for their planes when 2 loud explosions were heard. Then the airport was evacuated, and there's reports of a number of people dead and a number of people wounded. Ambulances have been going to the scene the whole morning. Since then, about an hour later, we heard of explosions in Malbec Metro, which is right in the heart of the EU station, one stop from Schumann. Schumann is, of course, Rond-Point Schumann, where the Commission and the Council building is. Then we heard of an explosion as well in Art-Lois Metro station, and then as well just recent in the last few minutes in Gare Centrale, which of course is the centre of the city, 2 minutes from Complas, the historic part of the city.
And indeed, Maeve, and just for our viewers that are watching us now, I just want to let them know the images that they're seeing now on their screen. They're not live. They are from earlier, but they are from Malbec Station that you just mentioned, which is near several EU buildings. Perhaps even you can see there on the left the blue EU flag there, perhaps waving at the building there. Now, Maeve, we do have, as you mentioned, you're there in the city centre in Belgium. The Belgian Crisis Centre is telling people to stay where you are. Do not go outside if possible.
That's what I'm hearing as well from people along the street. I was travelling on a bus earlier when a lady stood up and shouted at all the fellow passengers saying, stay at home, go back home, don't go anywhere near the centre city. Brussels is very, very dangerous today. She had just received a phone call from her sister who was in one of the metros and heard one of the explosions. She told all the fellow passengers that all the metros would be closed today and it was too dangerous to go to the city and to stay back at home. Now, we haven't really had much confirmation exactly from the police or the federal prosecutor. As you can imagine, they're just really trying to react to this developing situation because it's been a long morning here in Brussels since 8 o'clock, Molly. There have been various explosions. So we don't know how long more this will continue. If there's more explosions expected in any other metro stations or in Complas, I mean, as you can imagine, it's a nice day here in Brussels. The city is full and the tourists as well everywhere, which I'm sure they will have to go back to their hotels.
Indeed.